Aloha Ukulele friends, this is Neil Chin here, and welcome back for another class here with 4 strings at a time for Ukulele Club of Hawaii. This month's lesson, we're going to do something a little bit different, as this is going to kind of, I guess we kind of done it a little bit in the past, but it's a little different in the sense that we're going to be learning how to play a lick today. We're going to learn how to play a phrase today. And we're going to look at first just the position itself. I'm going to walk you through it. And then after that, we're going to look at kind of different ways to break it down, because really just think of it as kind of like a jumping off point for playing more or playing other things. So this lesson is definitely going to be for those. Just kind of paint it out. For those of you who want to do little fills and little melodies in between, you know how sometimes, a song will, a certain set of lyrics will be sung and then there'll be a little empty space. And then sometimes you'll hear, oftentimes, right, like an ukulele, or a guitar or some other instrument come in and play a little tiny little melody, just to kind of, add a little ear candy, so to say, to the song itself. Okay. This class will also be good for those who are already soloing. Okay, so for those of you who are like, hey, go ahead and take a solo, and you're like, oh, sure, I'll go and run through the whole tune or whatever the case is. This is just going to be another way to look at a particular part of the fretboard. And maybe it might be a good catalyst for, another jumping off point for you for your soloing. Okay, so for those who are doing fills, for those who are doing full solos, and then of course, okay, if you are not in one of those categories here, which I am sure there's way more that I'm not even mentioning, okay? But just know, okay, for those of you who are maybe new to this whole process, just know, okay, that this is a new way to explore the fretboard, okay? So as we go through it, I encourage you to play it literally, as I'm going to do here first, okay? But then, yes, please have fun with it, kind of wiggle it around. And you'll be surprised on how much in your fun exploration, so to say, kind of a lighthearted exploration on how much growth you'll have in learning the fretboard, understanding how it logically works out, and then letting things like positions like this help kind of guide that. So, without further ado, let's jump into it. So one of the things here to think about for this lick is we're going to start off today in the key of G, but we can always move that to other keys, via all the other systems that, we've done before, such as movable chords, or we've even talked a little bit about movable scales. So same idea here, okay? We're going to take this lick and we're going to move it up and down. So because we're in the key of G here today, that's going to actually arrive us here between frets 2 and 4. As you might see here, I'm making what looks like an E minor chord because, well, actually kind of is an E minor right here. Okay, so just real quick, from our nose to our toes, I have the open string, that's 0. Then I have 4, 3, and then 2 here. Okay, now, actually, before I move on, let me play for you the little phrase. It goes like this. That's it. Let me go a little slower. Okay, because basically all we're doing here is we're going to walk down those 3 notes. I'm just taking my thumb for my picking device, but do you, however it works for you, okay? Where we're going to pick the 3rd string, the 2nd string, and the 1st. In perfect order as we just kind of staircase them down, like walking down the stairs. But just as a, kind of little finishing part, we are going to incorporate our pinky here. And this is actually going to hit the 5th fret. And your fingers just really elegantly line up. This is your fresh PSA here, ukulele PSA, right? That generally speaking, if you kind of line up your fingers, finger per fret like this, your fingers will operate a little bit more efficiently. So you'll notice how the 2nd fret is done with my index, the 3rd fret done with my middle, and then et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, okay. Oops. Okay. Actually, so this is new for you. I would go ahead and pause the video and go ahead and practice that a little bit. Okay, another friendly PSA, right? If you can say it, you can play it. And if you can sing it, even better. Ba-da-da-da. See if you can't match those pitches. Okay, now it's really elegant. Okay, here. Let's say we're playing a song in the key of G. Might use this little phrase here. even going backwards. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this, okay? I'm going to be your little backing track for a moment here, okay? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to strum the chords G and D7. Okay, so a little bit of both. And all I want you to do is go ahead and play these notes and listen to the notes you're making, right? Listen to them, of course, and then listen to what I'm doing here as I'm playing these G and D7, because that's a big part about learning music here is we're always doing ear training. So think about it like that, right? In your discovery, train your ear too. Okay, so have fun playing those notes. You can just play them in order, or hey, have fun with it if you'd like, you know? I mean, change the order too, okay? I'll strum for you. Let's have some fun noodling and exploring here. Okay, here we go. I'll count us in. We're gonna go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, have fun. Playing those notes, and you don't need all of them too. You can even just play a few of them and they sound nice. Okay, try again. I'm switching back to G. Always remember, repetition legitimizes. So if you repeat the thing, if you play something that you like, repeat it, I should say. Okay, we go one more set of our chords here for exploration. We have G major. Ooh-doo-da-da. D7, boo-doo da da, and relax. Okay, so as you probably heard there, of course, I hope that you made plenty of mistakes too, as I always say, right? You know, try something a little bit harder, or you know, push against, so to say, the limit of your ability. That's how you grow, my friends. Okay. But as you can see, right, like the notes themselves, generally speaking, are pretty complementary, even to those two chords there. Okay. Now, the thing to think of here, okay, is that this phrase here, the reason why that I wanted to do it for this class here, I thought it'd be a great idea, is that in my personal experience, I've noticed that a lot of ukulele players, this is of course not, limiting, there's a lot of guitar players that do this too, but I have noticed, in my opinion, a lot of ukulele players that use this lick, this little, basically what it is an arpeggio, okay, to start off a lot of different solos, a lot of different melodies. So go ahead and turn on the radio, go ahead and listen to a bunch of different little ukulele solos, or if you hear little fills, whether it's going to be something contemporary or even something, of course, that harkens back to another style of ukulele playing. It's kind of profound, yeah? Even songs like that too have that lick, this phrase built in, okay? Now, here, okay, just a little bit of theory. Like I had mentioned, you are playing an arpeggio here, okay? Which, just technically, as we're doing it here, you're playing an E minor 7, which if that doesn't make sense to you, don't worry about it, okay? The important thing here is that you remember that it's in the key of G, okay? I mean, don't get me wrong, please. Learn the notes. It'll only help you, okay? But if not, don't worry, okay? I will tell you this, though. What'll help you immensely here, okay? At least to kind of get going, yeah? Is that, as we know, even if we go through club, we play in different keys, right? Sometimes we play in G or A or F, right? Or, of course, C, okay? So check this out. If we're here, and if this means that we're in the key of G, okay? A great way to remember that is if we take a look at our middle finger here, okay? I'm just going to isolate it. If I'm holding down my middle finger here, okay, what note is this? From our open E string, you have E, F, F sharp, and then you have G. So hey, this is the root of the key, okay? And this is basically going to be home base. So hey, I tell you what, even as you go, by placing G even at the end, yeah, there's a little bit of resolution that happens there, okay? So the reason why that I bring that up is that it's a really great little marker for you for when you want to move to another key, okay? So, hey, let's do a couple together just as practice, okay? And then please feel free to pause the video and rewind as we go through this, okay? What we're gonna do is we're gonna move here in the key of G. We're gonna keep watching your middle finger there, okay? And now we're gonna move it over to the key of A. Okay, we're going to do the same lick, da, 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 our little arpeggio, okay, but in A. So all we do is we take our position here and go 2 frets over to the right. So 1, 2. Okay, and if we take a look at our middle finger again, okay, now it's on the 5th fret of the ukulele. And if we were to take a look, if this is G, where we were just moments earlier, we moved it up to A. Technically is an F sharp minor 7 arpeggio. But again, no worries. Just know you're in the key of A and you're here. Okay. Now I'm going to just hop around. Okay. Now I'm going to move us now to the key of C because I think it's super practical. Okay. Now we're going to look for the same answer, but we're just and look at the same device, but basically just look at it from a little bit of a different angle. Okay. Because therefore, right, if we're looking at it like this, that means that if we can find, whatever key that we're in on the 2nd string, like we can find that corresponding note, our lick, our phrase here is going to fit nicely. Okay, so for example, again, as a review, earlier we did G here, and then we did A. Oops, A. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this go and say, okay, where on this string can I find C? And I go, okay, well, here's G, here's A. If I go a whole step up, there's B here on the 7th fret. And right next to B, a half a step up, right? No black key there, so to say, okay? We have the note C. Okay, so C is on the 8th fret and on the 2nd string. So what a good practice. We line up our fingers just like this. We're in position. Oops. Okay, and now we're in the key of C. Okay, and you can do that for all 12 keys as they correspond to, whatever key that you're playing in. Again, as a practical way to do this, as you're navigating, you can kind of see here a little circle of fits here. But as you're navigating all of these lovely keys over here, okay, the reality and truth is pretty much no matter who you are, right? You tend to play in particular keys. People have preferences, whether it's the music you make or whatever. Okay, whatever the case is, you have preferences. So I recommend, generally speaking, as an ukulele player, to play the ukulele-friendly keys to start us off with, right? So key of G, right? Key of C, super common, right? Hey, if that's on your docket for this month's of practice, hey, I'm going to practice a lick in the key of G and C and see if I can't take it for a spin at club. Maybe in between to a little fill. It's a little one. And see how it works, right? Okay? I think that's that's plenty already to work with. It's really tempting to go and go through all 12 keys and learn everything, but I always like to say the adage, I always love this one, is the hunter who chases 2 rabbits catches none. Okay, so choose the one you want, okay, and stick with it. Please know, as you gain growth in one area of your music playing, it always moves to the other ones too. Okay. Now, just to kind of wrap us up here, I'm going to give just a little example. I'm going to move us back down to G. And let me actually switch my camera one more time here. Okay, just as a kind of a little kind of jumping off point. Okay, so I want you to pretend again that there's G and D7, like if we're vamping, right? We're a common vamp for the key of G if we're playing a Hawaiian song, right? Okay. Just pretend like that's going in the back of your head. I'm going to stop playing and just for extra practice. Here. Okay, so. See if you can still hear your ukulele in your head, right? Da, G, da, 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 D7, da, da. You're increasing your vivid aural imagination, my friends. G, 2, 3, 4, G, da, da, D7, da, 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 da. And hey, they're caution to the wind, just kind of messing around with some notes. And hey, you never know what you're going to find, It might even sound nice. Who knows? No, I'm sure it does, friends. Have fun with it. Take plenty of chances, especially in this realm here, because the worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to play a wrong note. You're always a half a step from being in tune, friends. Okay. All right. thanks for joining us for another class here. I hope you enjoyed, learning that little lick and that little phrase. I encourage you again to go listen to it and hear it out in the wild. See if you can't spot it out as you're watching, an ukulele player play. Or, of course, take it out for a ride yourself. Okay? All right. This is Neil Chin again. Thanks again for hanging out, friends, and jam on. We'll see you at club.